Okay guys, I'm just going to basically show you some post-processing which I promised I would do. I'm going to use an image that I took of you all to actually do that. So what I've got here is I've got a few different versions of this image. I've already processed them via my raw processing, but that's a different tutorial. But I want to show you I want to just show you how I'm going to get stuff together. So you can see I've got in the layers here, I've got 3 different images which I'm going to composite together, and you can see I just flick between these two. I've already done some editing with a few of them. Now the reason why I've got this one at the top here is because Anna was moving a lot in this image, and if you look at this image here, this is the best. I took 2 images, and because both people were moving, so Ian and Jackie were both moving in the first one, and Anna was still, well, almost still. She's not quite still. She's, you're certainly moving a lot, Anna, and you can see your hands moving. You're very fast on the day, and also, but this is the image that most of us are actually still, and Anna, that's the image that I've got almost still. Now Steve's really very still on both of them, so he's a very good model, is Steve. Anyway, let me so what I'm going to do is I'm going to, first of all, I'm going to composite you all together, so you all are as sharp as I can get you, and then I'm going to make one of the images darker and make it more balanced, the exposure, and yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So these 2 images to start off with, I was trying to paint Anna in now, so again, if I just move down here, I know that Ian is kind of in the way a little bit there, but so if I just look at these 2 different things, so that's the shot that I want, and I want to keep the tripod in that shot. I want to replace Anna in there. So what I'll do is I select the layer 1 and I press this button, which is, I can't remember what it's called now. It's something to do with anyway, it's an adjustment layer. It's actually, let's just think it when you right click on it, yeah, add a vector mask. Okay, so what you do is, whatever I paint black into this area, if I get a paintbrush here and I make sure the paintbrush is black, which it is, if I just make the brush small by pressing the left, well, it's like a little left, I don't know, it's a right and left. It's not the right and left arrows, but it's just underneath plus and minus. It's like a little brackets button, brackets left and right. Just double check. Here we go. Now Anna has moved the camera, so it's going to be a little bit of a trial and error, is this situation. So we want to keep that. Actually, get rid of that. Delete. It's the other way around. So I need to put that image on the top. Okay, so that's the image that most of you are okay on, and I'm going to put the vector mask onto that image and paint through to try and improve the image of Anna. So if I come in here and start painting through, make this 100%. Okay, so that's there. So the background will be the same. And the key thing is here, it's not going to be perfect, because if I just take this past and just double check, it's not going to work perfectly because Ian is there. So if I just have a quick look, so Ian's head comes down to here, and on the other image, so I'm going to paint it down until it gets to Ian's head. There we go. So I'm at like 100%. Let's paint your hand in a bit more. Just check. So your hand's in a very similar position. It's just the tripod's actually moved. Okay, and your hand's moving at that point. So I'll just, it's definitely a bit tricky, is this, because the tripod's moved. So I'm going to get rid of your hand there, and so the camera's moved a little bit, like so. Now what's difficult about this is because your hand is in a different position and the tripod's in a different position, this is definitely a bit of a tricky number, because your hand comes down, but we don't want to paint over Ian's face. So I'm going to take this back to white. I'm going to paint away your hand like so. Oh, wrong button there. If I just undo that, I'll just come back in here, and yeah, that's okay. So this is definitely a bit of a tricky number because we're painting two images that don't quite work together. So it's, you're never ever going to get a perfect situation here. But what I'm aiming to do is make it look natural. No. Yeah, it's definitely a challenging situation here because because Anna, you moved quite a bit. I think we're going to have to accept. Let me just double check what's going on here. Yeah, you see your hands moving quite a bit there, so we've managed to keep your, and you'll see there's a very slight move, and I think that's because I've moved the entire image actually. Let me just have a quick check about this. So if I right click and go fit on screen, I'm just going to zoom right into the corner, like so. Having said that, I checked the history and it didn't look like it nudged by mistake. No, it's fine. No, I think it's okay. I'll just leave it. It's probably just the fact that I nudged the camera as it was moving. So I think we're going to have to accept, Hannah, that we can't get that absolutely perfect, because if you look at where the tripod comes down here, and I flick between these two, it moves, and then Ian's head's in the way. So I think we're going to have to accept, unfortunately, that because your hand was moving, that's going to have to be as close as we can get. Now, the camera is, it's reasonable. I'll try and do some more Photoshop work on there to make it look a bit more natural. You'll also notice that I've literally just got rid of these rocks in the foreground. I've also tidied up some various bits and bobs that look a bit distracting, so if you can see, only very briefly, like so. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to merge these two together, so merge visible, like so, which is what I want. I'm then going to just attempt to tidy Anna's hand up a little bit. Bizarre thing to say, there we go. So I'm going to use the cloning tool here. Because this is blurred, I'm just going to get rid of this because it looks a bit distracting and it just emphasises that there's a lot of movement there. So I'm just going to come in and just do a bit of cloning and just paint this away. Same with that on there, and the same with this here, just to make it look. Now it looks like you've lost your hand here, but unfortunately can't do very much about that, because unless we have another image of you without your moving hand, it's unusual. So I'm going to try and make this look a little bit natural. Right, that looks a bit distracting. I might just delete that altogether, just get rid of it, because it looks a little bit distracting. So what I'm doing is I'm pressing Alt. Sorry, I'm sat in the hotel. Don't know why it's doing that. Is it alarm going off? I don't know. I might have to go in a minute, but we'll see. I might pause it and do it in a second. So, what I'm doing here, you see, that's the new image of Anna. Okay, I think I might have to pause this, it's going on. But anyway, that's roughly doing it. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to come in here and I'm going to image adjustments, curves. I'm going to bring this right down to make it quite a lot darker and make the background a lot nicer. Oh, I think it sounds like it's setting the alarm off. So if I look at that, that background looks a lot more vibrant and nicer, like that. So I'm going to see, there we go. Okay, so now if you look at that, I like the background more here. So what I'm going to do, I'm gonna again take the background off. So I want to keep you guys. It works quite nicely, but what I want to do is I want to make sure that you're not. Okay. So if I select the vector mask again, and this time I'm going to use the gradient tool on the vector mask. So I'm just going to draw a gradient in there. Oh, wrong one. So I need this to be on that. There we go. And basically what I will do, you'll see up here, that enabled that basically it's that whatever's black is the background and whatever's white is the foreground. But I can use my brush tool and make my brush tool larger, so I can actually start painting in around. I'm using my Wacom tablet here, so if I'm just going to I'm on 100%, so I can take this down if I want to. So I can start actually. Oh, if I undo that last bit. But basically, what this enables you to do is paint a dark area and a light area. So if I just turn this off, you can see. If I go to white, I'm just going to paint you all 100% again. So I'm just paint that 100% to keep you all there. So I'm just painting in around this area. The computer's catching up with me, sorry, it's taking a while to do that. So you can see here what I've done is I can then paint this area in and make it darker. So if I take this down to a lower opacity, and just on the areas that I want to start to make darker, I'm going to keep you all brighter in here. I'm going to put a little bit of actually I think Jackie's face might need a little bit of attention, and it's a little bit bright. It's not blown by any means, but it's a little bit washed out, so I'm going to put some more colour back into all of your faces actually. So if I just make this brush smaller, and I'm going to do this quite subtly, so take this right down to quite slow, quite small amount, and just gradually start. It doesn't look like I'm doing very much, but trust me, if you see, I am just to bring the colour back into your faces. So Steve looks okay there. Ian's is a bit white, so if I just bring a little bit of colour back in, and yeah, Anna's face looks okay there. So if I just, right, there we go. So I'm basically looking at the hot spots. If I go to 100% on that, and then if I press my space bar and just drag it up a little bit, and you can see the difference. If I take that off, you see I've painted the background in here, and I can also right click on this and go disable layer mask, and then enable it, and you can see it just goes very, very slightly darker. Okay, so I think that's enough for now. Oh yeah, last thing I need to do is flatten image. I'm also going to send you the image, and you can do what you want with the image, but essentially this is a very quick example of how to composite two images together. So remember I was talking about compositing two raw files together. This is kind of what I've done. I've taken both of these out of one raw file. Actually I've taken them out of three actually, because of the different shots of you guys, and also the different backgrounds. So that's one thing to do. One thing I might just try and do, but lastly, if I go to image adjustments and go to my curves, is probably what I would, and just check the histogram. It looks pretty healthy. I'm going to pop a little bit of contrast in there just to see what it looks like. Yeah, it's probably going a bit too much on the background, so if I cancel that, I've already done that anyway. The last thing I might do actually, I might just bring the highlight on this tree up a bit more to make it look a little bit more natural. So you can see, just grab a highlighted area. I might do a little bit down here. It's a little bit dark in this area, so I'm just whacking a bit bright there to make it a more balanced exposure. And what this is doing is selecting the light areas. It's making them lighter. So yeah, just to add a little bit more of a balance within the scene. I won't do it there because but I think I might put a bit of more light there to give it an impression of. Yeah, I won't do too much more of that. And then subsequently, if you do the same thing with the burn tool, and you can actually just on the areas that are slight hotspots, you can actually push them back a little bit. That looks like it needs a little bit in here to a very small amount in there, like so. So it's kind of getting ready for print ready. Okay, I think that's enough. Hopefully you've learned something, and I said I was going to keep it short, so hopefully you will enjoy the image, and anyway, so take care, bye bye.